It is the Zach Sang Show, and we're here with James Maslow.
What's up, everybody? Alrighty, we're going.
Yo, we are going right into it because you have a lot of music, and you're releasing music completely on your own for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And when people, maybe not everybody understands that when an artist releases music on their own, like it's really on your own. You know, like it's all you, top to bottom.
It has to be. There's no one else to rely on. You know, I mean, I've got dope management. They're like family to me, and I'm lucky. But at the same time, their job is to manage once there is a product and once there is a career, right? Their job is not to create, or else they'd be artists.
It's on you to provide the product.
I mean, the biggest difference is, you know, I was on Sony Columbia before, my old band, and it's the biggest record label in the world. And, you know, I didn't realize, quite frankly, how lucky I was then. I mean, I knew in many ways, but in comparison to now, here's the big difference. I'd go, hey, I've got an idea for an album cover, for example. And they'd go, okay, awesome, what is it? And I give them a few ideas like, yeah, I want to be tuxes and floating or whatever, you know. And then I would get 10 renditions the next day because they had a massive team from creative to artist to whatever, right? Then I'd pick and choose and go, oh, change this, I like this. I mean, and I thought that's how it works. That's such bullshit. That is like such a fantasy land. And it's great. But how you do it independently and how most artists do it and how I've done it with this album.
You provide the 10 options. You then decide from there.
I go to my management now, like, yo, I got a great idea. And they go, fantastic. Give us 10 options tomorrow. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I wouldn't, you know, I've never been so proud of a piece of art I've created than this album, how I like it. And even though it's been more work and more stress, now that it's out and I'm playing music and playing concerts with people singing back lyrics that I wrote every single one of and talking about photos that, I mean, the entire creative, you know, is something I had to create. I'm really, really proud.
And that's on the list of like biggest differences between making music now and then with Big Time Rush is that like it's actually solely your decision. Before, not only did you have other bandmates, but there's a lot of hands in one pot.
There were arguably too many cooks in the kitchen at that point. You know, we had a massive team, man. You had the TV side with Viacom, who frankly didn't know a whole lot about music, but still wanted to have input. And then you had the Sony Columbia side, who frankly didn't know a whole lot about television, but still wanted to have input. So all due respect, you know, they all know this. At this point, it just was a really difficult way to create either side. And the longer we went on, the more they kind of let everybody do their own thing, which is how it should have been from the get-go. But yeah, now, man, nothing happens without me saying, let's make it happen, which in many ways is actually really, really cool as well.
Well, that was a big deal, right? Like I remember the last album that Big Time Rush did, you guys had for the first time a lot more control. Like you were allowed really into the studio. You were allowed to really be a part of it more than ever before. Not that you weren't a part of it, but like you had a bigger voice.
100%. I mean, like anything, the longer any project goes, whether it's just television or music or a combination like this, the more successful it becomes, the more you get to say, hey, well, we've contributed to a lot of success. Let us contribute a little more and see how it works. Mm-hmm. And the dope part about it is that the more we wrote, the better it seemed to do as well. So, you know, I think that's why we had so many fans that were so diehard, is that music, for the most part, and especially as it continued, was genuinely from us.
Yeah, and people love BTR still. Dude, that's how that's obviously how we met all those years ago. And
it's been like, what, 10 years now? It's kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time. And I still hear from those fans all the time, man. Like they're still diehard, they still care, and the show is good. 100%. And the music, seriously, my roommate and I listen to Boyfriend all the time. Still, it's on our playlist.
We had some great music, man. I'll never say anything negative about it. It was such a dope experience. It just, to me, was always a stepping stone to be able to do my own music, my own film, my own TV, which is what's finally happening this year.
And that's exciting.
It is.
And one, because it's all you, but two, you walk away from these experiences knowing so much more. Like you know, you've seen mistakes happen, you know mistakes, you learn from everything that happens, and you can now apply that to your own project, and you're the CEO.
It was basically a paid education.
Yeah, it's college, man.
That was my college, straight up. I was on sets for 12 to 20 hours a day, or on tour buses and arenas working on production. I mean, I learned everything from line of sight and how production actually works to sitting in the editing bays. And I mean, it's so exciting now that I'm creating stuff all over. I can think back, oh, I remember this 8 years ago, you know, the first time that I fucked up on line of sight and asked the director, how do you do this? Oh, that, you know, and those were my classroom experiences, just doing it for real.
What was the hardest part about those early years?
You know, we went literally straight from high school into nonstop, essentially 2-3 jobs. So we had the single camera TV show, which was literally started at 12 hours on Monday. By Friday, we were averaging 16 to 24 because that's how it rolls over.
And
right?
he's not lying. Those are the schedules on those sets.
They're nuts. When it's single camera, now when it's multicam, it is a little bit more lax because you only really film 2 days a week. We weren't. We filmed the same way that Entourage films, and we were on location, so it was awesome, but a lot of hours. And so then when you limit how much time you have to do music, we would straight up be taking police escorts, like hard outs at 10 o'clock on a Friday or something, which was not enough time to film the show, but they'd have to figure it out.
Yeah.
We'd have a police escort to go to LAX to catch a flight to make it out by like 11:30, right? Bags packed the night before, everything. Fly to the East Coast, play a show, do press, do another show, do press, try and squeeze in like a third, then take the last flight out on Sunday,
and you have to be
back at 6 a.m. on Monday.
Yeah.
So that became, it was the most exciting part at first, of course, but that became the hardest part because eventually you're like, all right, this is really, really cool, but I haven't done anything else in years.
And then the novelty wears off, right? Like the novelty of like the cool car services and the first class plane rides and the police escorts and, like that. I mean.
Well, of course, man, because at the end of the day, you realize that, and that's where I was lucky to have the other guys. And I'll say this for the rest of my life. Like it was very cool getting to share that experience with at least a few other people.
Yeah.
But it was just them. No one else. We didn't get to see our friends or family or make new friends for most of those years, which is okay. Like I'm not trying to complain, but being very honest here. Even if you're playing arenas, when you're doing 88 shows in a row, which is one of our last big tours, by the 88th show, even by the 50th show, it's not as exciting as it was. How could it possibly be when you don't have time to reflect on it, share those stories? And now I have. So now it's like, it's the dopest thing in the world, and it's given me that much more excitement to do my own thing. But during it, right in the middle of it, it definitely felt like work at times.
Do you feel like you lost James Maslow in the middle of that, or redefined who you were, or who you thought you were?
It's a really good question. I think that it was just an extreme experience.
Yeah.
And it took me, I had to take a couple of years after that to just travel and make new friends and go out and party a little bit, go to Ibiza with buddies and have new relationships. I really did. I kind of had to have a little, my own version of college experience to be able to understand how cool that was and reflect, and then get back to kind of who I was before the band and who I've become since. And now I really feel so centered. I just turned 27. I feel like I'm in just the most confident, excited part of my life and understanding who I am and what I want to do. In the middle of all that, probably not, but I wouldn't be here without that. So
yeah, that's the truth. And now you're releasing your own music. That is all you. And the songs are great, man.
Appreciate that, man.
Cry, great record. Love it. Lies, How I Like It. These are all you. You're putting together everything. Are you producing it on your own? Do you have like a friend that you're producing it with? Break it down for me.
Yeah, so I've always written music, but mostly focused on top line, which is lyric and melody. And look, it took me 3 years since we stopped touring to when I put out this record. I was writing the entire time, and with some big producers as well. Lucky to get in those rooms because we'd sold so many millions of songs and records. You can kind of get in with anybody. But the problem with that, I learned, is the songs either sounded like Big Time Rush, because that's what those producers knew me from, or it sounded like that producer because I was letting them do the production. Even if I was writing the music, a song is both production and lyric and melody.
You can't have a good song without a crappy one.
Well,
you
it's
gotta
not
have
even
both.
good or bad, but to be genuine to me and to discover my sound, how could I possibly do that when someone else was influencing at least half of that song,
Were you afraid to, like, any producer you end up working with, were you afraid to give them notes? Like, because it starts as your song, but it does become theirs the second they put the production on it.
Yeah, that's pretty common when you're with somebody who's, done 15 number ones, and just has 15 platinum records on the wall. I think it's pretty common to kind of go, all right, they must know what they're talking about. Let's give them a little bit more control. But what I was saying between that and this is that's not how you develop a personal record. That you just can't. No. You have to create it. And so to your point on do I produce, I actually learned to engineer and learn to produce in order to do this record.
Badass.
And I'm so psyched about it. I'm just getting more and more excited about getting better as an engineer and better and producing more. So everything I create, I can control every aspect of it. And my boy Doug Makuta, who I did most of this record with, amazing artist, amazing producer and writer. He signed to Timbaland. He obviously helped me so much, but it was him and I, just pretty much 50-50 on most of these songs, with writing and producing just back and forth. And because of the Timbo connection, we actually got to be in Tim's studio in Virginia Beach to cut most of these songs.
That is sick.
I mean, the whole thing's pretty sick. I mean, it worked out well. But yeah.
Does looking back at the experience of creating your own album, like literally from scratch, like out of nothing, what is your proudest? Like you look back and what makes you feel the most proud?
Do you know how many times in the past 3 years where I just kept writing songs and producing just God, probably over 100 songs, and I've just gone, man, I'm never gonna figure this out. That is the toughest thing. Like 2 years in, going, yeah, probably just not gonna.
And that's really scary.
It's incredibly scary because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I made it. I was part of the decision in saying, hey, this TV show's over. The band could continue to tour, but no, I really want to focus on my own brand, my own music. So I want to focus on something that I own and can do for the rest of my life. So then reflecting on that, going, I left a lot of money on the table. Okay, so there's that, but then that's what's made it that much sweeter once you finally crack that code. So there are two moments that stick in my head. One, when I met Doug, we were in his little tiny apartment in Brooklyn, in Bushwick. I mean, it's honestly maybe an eighth of the size of this room, not even making that up. And he does very well. He's just a modest dude. He's on the road most of the time, and
dude, it's New York City, man.
It's New York City, right? But we just were in there and hit it off so well. We wrote 4 songs in 2 days. 2 of which ended up setting the sonic palette for this album. It was Cry and How I Like It, funny enough.
Cool.
And so when we cracked those, like, dude, we were on to something. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
And we just did. We just hunkered down, and for 6 months between there, my place in Venice, between Jersey, between Virginia Beach, we were just all over, kept flying in together and writing and meeting and working. When we finished mixing the last song on the record of 12 songs, the last song, last tweak, last everything. It was just him and I in this huge studio alone in Timbo's studio, Thomas Crown. I just remember knowing like that was the last vocal, the last tweak, the last master we were going to touch. And just the excitement we had, we were running around like little kids just freaking out.
That's awesome.
I'll never forget that, man. It was so cool. It was such a dope feeling.
That's excitement, but it also could have been nerves, right? The idea that this is it, and this is the last time you're going to touch it.
Yeah, and then once it's finished, you go, okay, now what?
Yeah.
And then it starts all over again. The trepidation comes back.
How many sleepless nights led up to the decision in those conversations of having to walk away from Big Time Rush? I mean, that must have been, ridiculously hard. Or was it not?
Well, 2 things make it not that difficult, to be honest, or made it not that difficult. One, the TV show wasn't going to continue, and that really wasn't our decision. We had done almost 100 episodes. We were the longest-running live-action television show they'd ever had. So it had done so well, it had done so much, and we were getting older and still doing the slapstick comedy. I know all of us, not that we were tired of it, we were excited to do something else. As actors, as artists, as musicians, you want to continue to create and do something else. And
keep it fresh for you so you stay invested.
100%. So when the TV show wasn't going to continue, yeah, we did have the option to keep playing as the band. But once again, I didn't create the band. The other guys didn't create the band. We created a lot of the music. We made the band what it was.
Yeah.
But it was Sony, Columbia, Nickelodeon that came in and said, let's develop this.
You filled the roles that they were casting for.
Yeah, and we definitely made it more than that. Like I said, we wrote a lot of the music and we created the vibe of it. I mean, the guys are all such talented people, and it became our thing. But that's a really tough thing. Be like, well, it's our thing, but we still have to give away 99% of it. That's what we toiled with. And by the end of it, when you know what, it's all good. I'm glad we did it, but I want to create something that is mine, that I own. To me, that's where longevity is. And what better thing than my own brand, my own music? And that's what I'm doing now. So
that you own.
Yeah, it wasn't that hard of a decision at the time. There are definitely moments within those couple of years where it was like, oh, this is scary, but there were also some independent movies I was able to do, like 48 Hours to Live, which Benny Boom directed.
Cool.
Who's one of the dopest directors of all time. He just did All Eyes on Me, the Tupac biopic. But, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to star in that movie with Tommy Flanagan, Amelia Rivera, D. Ray Davis.
And that's defining for you in a big way.
It's so defining, and it takes a lot of those to get back, get on the big screen for the $100 million movies. But I fully plan on it, and I've already begun it. So it's different now, but I think I'm more excited than ever.
Is it weird to look at the guys in Big Time Rush, not now as bandmates, but kind of as competition?
I got to be honest, I've never looked at them as competition.
Okay.
I just see us all as so distinct, so different.
But not everybody can win, right? And everybody's vying for that one spot on that one ad on that one radio station.
I disagree. When I look at like my own friends, group of friends, not everybody can win. Screw that. I want and expect all of my friends to succeed.
Okay.
All of them to win. Now, a lot of my friends are not in the industry, and so it's obviously different. But there are so many platforms for television, so many roles for movies. So why the hell can't we all have our own individual success?
And I agree with you on that, right? Because there are so many outlets, right? Even for music, everybody
even
could
online. Are you kidding me?
Yes.
Everybody. I mean, look at One Direction right now. If you want to talk about people individually winning on such a large scale, come on.
How crazy is that?
You've got Liam and you've got all these people individual with their own sound and all that, and they're all winning. That's amazing.
And
I love that.
And the music is great. The music backs up them as individuals. And they're all, I don't think any of those songs, I'm not saying this is the case with you guys at all, but none of them sound alike, and they've all really carved out their own
And they'll
way.
continue to do so, and I don't see why all of them can't continue to have success and win. So I think that's amazing, and that's the way that I've always looked at the boys and I. They're going to have their own version of success. I'm going to have my version of success, and that's starting now, and it's amazing, but I will champion them for the rest of our lives.
Beautiful. And looking back at One Direction, you guys have a very interesting relationship. That's like, I had met you previous to that, but that's kind of when during that time period, I was really a part of Nickelodeon, and I got to see it, not from the inside, but like I was just, a lot of times when you two were together, except for on the road, but the big stops, I was there, and I just kind of witnessed how it all worked. Looking back on that, what do you think?
Because it's funny now, because obviously the band became so successful, and the 1D guys are all doing so well on their own individually.
And they opened for you.
They did, and so it's funny when sometimes I say that to people, they go, "No, they didn't." I'm like, yeah, it was only like what, 5 years ago?
Literally, yeah, like 6 years ago, maybe at the most.
Maybe at most. When they first came over from the UK, we were on tour, and they came and jumped into the opening slot. Now we already had a sold-out tour, but when they came, they obviously added that much more excitement, and it was kind of cool to witness the beginning of it. We could tell that there was something special about how even our own fans were fans of them, which hadn't really existed before. It was always like our fans were fans of us and no one else. Like openers got no love, but I always felt bad about that because, the Rushers are so diehard, still are. Yeah, they came on board and we saw it kind of start to happen, and then they didn't leave the road for like 3 years after that.
No, but does that make you a little angry? Not angry, but like a little like,
dude, like you don't get it. I've never been like that. I want their success in no way takes away from mine.
Okay. I mean, that's the best that's the most beautiful way to look at it.
I mean, any other way you choose to look at it, I think would make you crazy. And I don't have enough time to feel crazy and stressed. You know what I mean?
I have too much time to be crazy.
Okay, well then, by all means, look at it that way.
Yeah.
But no, in all sincerity, man, like they're crushing it, and they're all. But I am so incredibly different than any of those guys.
Yeah. But Big Time Rush at the time, right? Boy band versus boy band.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, some of the guys felt differently. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Some of the guys were upset and jealous, and and I do understand why. But to me, I was like, guys, we have an amazing job. We sold this tour out already. We're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep touring. Like, it's a strange way to look at things when like you have success. There's always going to be somebody more successful. But it's like the billionaire who loses, $500 million and then goes and kills himself or something horrible, right? You're still worth $500 million. Mind you, I am not close to that, but it's the same principle of like, guys, don't stress about somebody being more successful than you, because if you're chasing somebody's success, you're never going to get there. If you follow somebody's exact footsteps, you're going to end up working for them. You need to be innovative and create your own unique destiny. I believe that wholeheartedly. And then you'll get to whatever level you really want to.
My entire life is based on that. And to that point, I do believe that personally. Background on my phone is a Charlie Walk quote.
What does it say?
That reads, "Winners focus on winning, losers focus on winners."
Ooh, I like that.
It's beautifully said. Nice and tight, concise.
That's exactly what we're talking about, man.
Your own music. Cry. How'd you write that song? Where were you when you came up with the lyrics?
So that was back in that studio in Bushwick.
Did you go in with a concept, or did it all just flow once you were there?
Went in with absolutely nothing. The entire album, there was not one song where I referenced another song, referenced another artist, or even came in. I mean, I always have a bunch of ideas and things, but there's not one song that I came in like half complete. Everything really we started from scratch. So,
Got it.
Cry. I'm trying to remember the very first thing we did. I think we just got on a piano and a keyboard and started the chord structure. And once it started going, I think we wrote the lyrics within 2 hours, maybe less, maybe the whole song within like 4.
It's those songs that happen that quick that you kind of know.
Yeah, that was most of the record, man. I mean, there was 1 or 2 songs we revisited and had to break, but for the most part, if something doesn't come quickly for me in the studio, I don't want to stress over it. I'd rather move on and start something new.
Okay, why is that? Is it do you feel because is it that you like will focus on it and you'll try to get it to the point where it's right, and if it's not right, you just got to put yourself in a different creative space?
I'd rather just revisit it later. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to be excited about a song and about the process, and it's not always like this, but at least with Doug and I and most of this record, it was. If it wasn't too exciting, we'd move on and start something else, and maybe we'd come back and revisit it because. You know, it goes both ways. You can write a song and be like, yo, this is the dopest thing I have ever done in my life. And next morning, wake up, turn it on and go, the hell was I thinking? This song sucks. You know? But it can go the other way too, where you're like, I just can't figure it out and whatever. Hell, I think Addicted was like that. And that was actually with a different writing team, a couple guys named the Larios Brothers who are super dope. They did Who Knows and Addicted with me.
Cool.
And Addicted was a song that like we kind of like started messing around with, and we were tired, and it was late at night. We're like, honestly, it's probably not going to go anywhere. They convinced me like, yeah, I'll just cut the vocal. I really didn't even want to. I'm like, it just doesn't feel right. I said, fine, I'll cut the vocal. Came back in later, a couple weeks later for another session and listened to it, and we all just kind of stopped and looked around the room and was like, yo, this song's actually pretty dope. Like, we should finish this one. So, but I'd rather come in another day and be inspired.
Yeah, which is understandable. I get that. And that's, I mean, but the whole thing about music, right, in general, do you feel like it could be too forced because of the way people consume? People consume pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know, and too forced meaning like you got to keep producing music. And when you feel excited and you feel passionate about it, that's how the best product comes.
Yeah, but you know, I've always been quality over quantity. That's why I waited 3 years to put something out. Hell, I mean, when I was on Dancing with the Stars, for example, I had more personal publicity, except for right now, I think, than ever.
You really could have. I mean, dude, I was surprised that you didn't, because my mom loved you. You became like a household name again.
How you doing? Thanks for voting.
That show is a game changer in people's lives.
It can be, but here's my point. If I put out a song that was a crappy song or just an okay song, a massive amount of publicity with just okay art is not going to mean anything.
Exactly.
It's going to fade away. I mean, there were other people, even my season, who put out music and perform music and no reaction because you still need to have quality product or whatever. That's how I feel. And that's why I waited so long. And now that I have an album worth of material that I'm incredibly proud of, now I'll go out and play and do whatever. It doesn't matter. I'll go back and play on that show one day, I'm sure.
Being proud of your art is like, I mean, come on. It goes without saying that is the most important thing to this entire process.
Well, it's one thing about being proud. It's another thing that the audiences are smart. And these days, nobody wants music forced down their throat. Yeah. It doesn't work anymore. Like the whole manufacture shit and throw it out. That's not, everybody wants to discover things that they're genuinely excited about. Organic growth is, I think, the smartest and strongest way as an artist to do it. So like if you put out something that it really is good and you believe in it, people feel that excitement, like that works. You put out something that like someone else wrote and you don't really care, like I don't think it's really ever going to work unless maybe you're already like a top 40 artist.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to do touring soon? That's on the list?
It definitely is. I did one little run in Europe a few months ago, which was fun. It's like my first little promo.
The people of Europe love you.
I love Europe.
Mexico too.
And I did a little one-off show in Mexico City at Plaza Condesa.
Come on.
Which was so freaking fun. And we had a couple thousand people show up. So
it's amazing.
The support was unreal. And yeah, I can't wait to get back on the road. Right now we're doing all this iHeartRadio stuff.
Nice.
You know, I'm going to be playing a little show in New York next week. You know, small little thing for iHeart, then a little show in San Francisco, and then I actually get to open up, you know, iHeart Vegas.
You won that competition.
Which is dope, yeah. So I think those are kind of priority, and then a tour after that would be amazing.
Is How I Like It the official single?
We really haven't, once again, being an independent,
we haven't
had to pick quite yet. We've done focus tracks. You know, we put out Cry and then How I Like It. And,
yeah.
I mean, the music video is supposed to be filming Saturday. Now we're pushing a little bit, but one of the first ones I'm going to get done is for Addicted. And then I might even be doing one for Worship. I don't feel the need to kind of pick a single quite yet until I'm really going and doing like a radio run, I suppose.
I get it.
But until then, man, I want to let the fans decide. Let them just kind of keep listening and see what would naturally kind of
stream your favorite.
Yeah.
Keep on streaming it.
Stream your favorite.
And are you funding this all yourself? Is it all out of the James Maslow, the Bank of Maslow?
Oh, wow. I wish, when you say it that way, it sounds like there's a lot of money to be funding this. It's really not. Yeah, I mean, so far everything has been either people working with me because they believe me and want to make it happen, or just, you know, me doing that at my own studio, which I funded, or going to, So it's definitely can be taxing. I've got a distribution company that's crushing it, and they put up a couple bucks because it's done well enough.
Nice.
But yeah, no label, no financial backing really, which eventually I'd like to upstream because I don't know what that, maybe not a label, but somewhere, whether it's like a big brand endorsement, whatever, because it'd be nice not to have to stress every time. Yeah. Hey, we're doing a music video. Cool, man. Come up with 20 grand. What?
Exactly.
You know, it's just costs a lot of money. I mean, touring, you know, I mean, even just going to Europe, like flights and hotels and salaries and production, it all adds up. Luckily, the album's doing well enough and there's been enough support that for the most part, we've at least broken even, which is a win for anybody starting over. But, yeah, man, it's all working. It's all moving, so I'm not that stressed.
It's badass, man. And, like, to the point of it costs money. I mean, think about for a second how much money went in, like, to one Big Time Rush show. Or, like, one big...
Oh. Dude, I remember we did a promo run in Europe.
Oh, my God.
And just
tell me.
No, it was something absurd. It cost to get 4 guys and then the publicist and, like, you know, it was a crew of, what was it, 8 or 10 people. We were in London, I think, for 5 days. Something like $500,000.
Yeah, and the wardrobe you got, I'll never forget until the day I die. It's Worldwide Day of Play, and they rent out the bottom, like the whole bottom floor of the W Hotel because every Nick kid imaginable is in town.
Yeah, right.
Seriously, everybody's there, and you just for the Big Time Rush area where there was clothes. I mean, a ballroom, half a ballroom.
Oh, it's absurd.
It was insane. I mean, the most beautiful clothes.
Yeah, that's where I still have half my wardrobe from, man. Are you kidding me? Actually, I remember that. I remember, this was one of the dopest things. So I do love fittings because that basically means whatever brand, whatever, like I'm doing a fitting for Macy's. Thanks, Macy's. I get to go through the entire Macy's store and pick what, like, that's dope because clothes cost a lot of money. I'll never forget, though, on the Worldwide Day of Play, there was this, oh my God, it was like a Marc Jacobs or something leather jacket. And mind you, we're in D.C. in the summertime. Like, it is 100 degrees out.
It was muggy. It was raining. It was bad.
But if I wear it on stage, I keep it. So I put that Marc Jacobs jacket on, and I rocked out to a full song in that leather jacket, looked at the wardrobe stylist and went, just nodded like, you know I wore this. Took that off, threw it on the side, and played the rest of the show. Still have it to this day.
That is awesome. By the way, I think that was a rule that Nickelodeon only gave to like talent that they liked because every time I'd get all this wardrobe and all this clothes and I'd be like, oh my God, this is awesome. You know, I didn't want to like, can I take it home? Or they would like make it a point to be like, no, you can't take it, Zach. Or we're going to keep all of it here. I'm sure there was a closet that I had at 1515 in Times Square and whoever got all that clothes.
See, that's what's messed up because you have to buy it anyways.
Yes, and it goes to waste.
It goes to waste. So we had so many arguments about this stuff. I was like, guys, it fits me. It was tailored to me. You paid for it. I'm taking it home.
Come on.
It was at times like, you know, several years into this when we just knew how it went. Like, they're going to keep it for themselves or it'd sit in a freaking warehouse. We just walk out wearing it. Like, not to be an asshole. Everyone was cool. You just be like, thanks, guys. Love you. Wait, I'm sorry. We made you how much money this? Yeah, I'm going to keep this jacket.
This is going to be a gift for me.
From you, and I said thank you, and I'll keep saying thank you. I really appreciate this gift that you decided to give me. You're a wonderful person. See you tomorrow.
That was the trick. I started doing that a couple times. I got a couple nice ties and a pair of shoes. But
there you go.
Nickelodeon, good people. They're always the best ever.
I'm still friends with a lot of the executives, a lot of the cast. I mean, obviously my cast, but from the whole, I feel like Nick was really pretty particular about who they wanted to work there and who they wanted on their shows. Like they took longer. I mean, 2 years to cast our show.
Dude, I was 2.5 years in meetings too.
Yeah, but you know what? They pick quality people. I will give them that.
Oh, okay. Let's be real. Look at the people that like your show graduated with. I ended up leaving with. I mean, look at the alumni that from that like generation of Nickelodeon. I mean, in my opinion,
we're just getting going too in our own thing.
It's crazy. But also, in my opinion, the most talented group of individuals.
Lord. I mean, Ariana Grande, one prime example.
But even if you look at that cast of Victorious, like they're all going to define their own path and their own like lane within this world.
100%, man.
They're awesome. And even you guys, did you go to Carlos's wedding?
Of course, I was a groomsman.
I didn't know.
That was years ago.
Was it that long ago?
It's like 4 years ago.
Oh my God,
He just had a baby.
I'm late on my gossip.
He's straight married, straight with child.
Like living it.
Living in Maui, you know that? He just moved to Hawaii.
What is he doing?
I mean, living the life on the beach.
But
Did different life than me. I fear perpetually single as long as I live in Los Angeles. But I look to him for like, you know, I need to have some family. I'll just fly over to Maui and just like hang out with him and Alexa.
Hang with the baby.
Yeah, I was just over there. We both filmed a little something in Kona like 6 weeks ago, and then I actually welcomed him into his new home in Maui. after that. It was pretty dope.
Yeah, the Hawaii life seems like a beautiful life, but a life that I'm afraid of being like addicted to.
Yeah, I mean, there is stuff to do, but not nearly as much as over here. And like, I think it's easy to just end up
relaxing,
enjoying.
Yeah, just doing nothing.
Which, by the way, like, what's so wrong with just relaxing and enjoying your life?
Oh, you're right.
We're too work-centric sometimes.
No, I mean, I would rip my eyebrows out. I'd be pacing nonstop.
Oh my God, even vacation. Like, I can only sit on, like, don't get me wrong, it's nice to sit on a beach with a Mai Tai for about a day. After that, though, I get so antsy.
What do you do?
I gotta just do adventures.
I always say I vacation in hours, not in days. Just doesn't work that way. James Maslow, an honor to talk to you again, my friend. Thank you for coming to do the show.
And might I just kind of throw this out there? Known you for so many years. I'm sitting in this gorgeous studio. You're all over the freaking country and the world with your show. You're crushing it, man. Congratulations.
I really thank you, and that means a lot. And you guys, seriously, I mean, your band was so instrumental in like giving people a reason to even know my name.
Instrumental.
And instrumental, yeah. It's yeah. But it's the truth. I mean, that interview, that first interview, and every interview after that. I mean, dude, I remember interviewing you guys in the TRL studio. It was one of my first gigs for Nickelodeon, and we did like this whole. It was all around the album. I remember interviewing you on the orange carpet of your movie premiere. You know, Al Roker was there and Big Time Rush and everybody was there. That was a huge deal. I remember.
Yeah, New York City. That was fun, man.
So vivid. I mean, thank you for everything.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Well, this is the dopest part about being in this town for 10 years now is that it's so fun to watch your other friends succeed in their own ways too. And your paths and our paths will keep crossing, and it's just the coolest thing, man.
And that it really is the coolest, and it gives me goosebumps. So
me too. I love that.
James Maslow, a lot of love for you, sir.
Likewise, man. Thanks for having me.